welcome to another video of programming C. So as we all have completed in our previous videos all the fundamentals of C, like we have covered variable, we have covered the constant, we covered then how to write the first C, we have written first C program also. Then we have seen what are the different steps to write C program. Then we saw about operators, then we saw about expressions, then we saw about output function and input function, etc. So now it's time to do some simple programs. So in today's video, let us write a C program on to take an integer from the user and print on the screen, to take two numbers from the user and print its sum, to calculate the simple interest and calculate the area of a rectangle. Fine. And at last I will give you some tasks to do at home. Fine. So let us start with to take an integer from user and print it on the screen. So as I mentioned earlier, for each and every program, consider it is a problem. The program statement, it's a problem. So for every problem we have to do our algorithm. Then after algorithm we have to do the flowchart. After writing the flowchart we can easily write our program. So for each program, here we have 4 programs. For each program I will give you the algorithm as well as the flowchart, and then I will write the program on compiler and compile it, and we'll see how the output come. Fine. So let us go to the first problem. It is to take an integer from the user and print it on the screen. So here on the left hand side we have the algorithm, and on the right hand side we have its flowchart. So what is the algorithm? So the basic steps, the very fundamental thing is that the algorithm should be written step by step, and every step should be have a number. Like here we have 1 2 3 4. Fine. The start and stop will be there. So the what is algorithm? The algorithm is step number 1, start. Step number 2, you have to declare integer variable, suppose it is num1. Step number 3, read the value for num1 from the user. Step number 4, display num1, that means display the value of num1 on the screen. And step 5, it is stop. Similarly, when this particular algorithm is converted to flowchart, the start and stop is, we already know it is ellipse, and the input and output is shown in rhombus. So the step number 3 and step number 4 are the input and output. So read num1 and display num1 are two processes which is input and output process. That is why it is shown in rhombus. So where is step number 2 of the algorithm? See, declaration of a variable of variables, it is not thing that we have to show it in a flowchart. So declaration is not shown in flowchart. The processes are only shown. That is why read the value of num1 from the user and display num1 are the two processes which are shown in flowchart. So let us now see how to write this particular program on our compiler. We will write it, compile it, then we will see what is the output of it. Okay, this is the compiler which we are using. As I earlier mentioned, it is dev C++. I will give the download link of dev C++ in this video's description. Fine. And also I will give all the previous video descriptions in this particular, all links in this description of this video. Fine. So for start the program we have to go to file, then new, source file. So here we will start writing our program. So first, as I mentioned, we have to write the preprocessor command. So our preprocessor command is as include stdio dot dot h, then main, curly braces. So first, as I mentioned in algorithm as well as in flowchart, the first task is in algorithm, the first task is to declare a variable num1. So the question is to accept a integer from the user. So we have to declare a integer variable. So to declare integer variable, we have to write int space, suppose the variable name is num1 semicolon. Remember, semicolon is compulsory for each statement. If you not give semicolon, it will give you an error. Then enter. After the variable declaration, the second step of algorithm is to accept the value from the user for num1. So to accept the value from the user, we have the function called as scanf. I will please go to the description. I have the I will give the link of previous video where we discussed about scanf function. So if you don't remember scanf function, please go to there and see the video. Fine. So we will write scanf bracket start double quote start %d double quote end comma ampersand of num1 at last semicolon, enter. Fine. So before this, let us give a message to the user to enter a number. So I will write printf enter a number. Then scanf accept that number which the user will give you in num1. Then again printf double quote start the number given by user is %d double quote end comma num1 semicolon. So the last statement which I have written, printf the number given by user is %d comma number and num1. So it indicates that the value of num1 will be printed at the place of %d, because %d is a format specifier. It gives the message to the compiler what kind of value is going to print in case of printf. In case of scanf, it will give the message what kind of value is going to stored. Fine. So after this, we have to again go to file, save. We have to save this we have to save the program in using the extension .c. Fine. So let me first give the path where I want to store my this program. So I will store here. Let me give the name. I will give name as it is our second program. I will give second program. And save as type, select here, see source file. Fine. Save. It is saved. Now after saving, we have to compile it. So here the shortcut for compile, there is a key, or you can press F9. Let us see it is written compiling. It will take time because the thing is that the compiler is for Windows, and as it is opened for first time today, it will take some time. Okay, fine. So see, it is done. Close it. Then this is the key for run, or the shortcut key is F10. So run. See, this is the run window or the output window where our output. See, in this output window, it is there, the message is there, enter a number. So the user will give any number. So let us give 23. Then press enter. See, then the next line was the number given by user is 23. Fine. And then press any key, it will go. So this is our first program which we have done. It is the problem statement is to accept a number from the user and accept a integer from the user and to print it. So now let us see what is our second problem and what is the solution. Okay, the second problem of our today is to take two numbers from the user and print its sum. The algorithm is, first step is start, second step to declare the variable, and we have to take three variables, num1, num2 and sum, because the first two numbers, we have to take two numbers from the user and those two numbers will store in two variables. After that, we need another variable to store the sum of those two numbers. So we need three variables, num1, num2 and sum. Then we have to read the values of for num1 and num2. Then we have a process, sum is equal to num1 plus num2. Then we have to display the sum. At last stop. Similarly, in the flowchart also, as I already mentioned, we do not have to write or we do not have to mention the declaration of variables in flowchart. So step number 3, 4 and 5 are seen in our flowchart. Step number 3, read num1, num2. Step number 4, sum is equal to num1 plus num2, and step number 5 is display sum. Fine. So the input and output in our flowchart is shown in rhombus, and the process, which is sum is equal to num1 plus num2, is shown in a rectangle. So now let us go to the programming window or the compiler and let us write C program for this particular problem. So here we are in our compiler. Same, we have to first write our preprocessor command, which is has include stdio.h, then main, curly braces start. First we have to declare our variable. As I mentioned in algorithm, we need three variables of integer type because we have to accept the numbers. int num1 comma num2 comma sum, semicolon, enter. Then we have to give a message to the user to enter two numbers or to give two numbers. Printf enter two numbers, semicolon. When the user will give two numbers, we have to accept those numbers. To accept those numbers, we have scanf. As we have two variables, we will write 2 ampersand d ampersand d. There will be no space, no comma, double quote, and then here we have to give comma. Then we have to write ampersand of num1 comma ampersand of num2. The first value which the user will enter, it will store in num1, and the second value which the user will give, it will store in num2. Fine. Then we have to do the process. Sum is equal to num1 plus num2 semicolon. Enter. After that, the sum is ready. We have to print the sum. Printf within double quote, the sum is percentile D. So where is the value of percentile D? It is in sum, semicolon. Fine, this is our program. Let us compile it. Okay, before compilation we have to store it. See, automatically it gives the pop-up to store it. Fine, so let us give the name addition of two numbers. It is addition of two numbers or sum of two numbers. So I will give sum to number, and the save as type is C source file. Save. After saving, the compilation will be done. So it is done here. Close it, then go to run window. Let us see, enter two numbers. Let us give 23, again give enter, 21, enter. The sum is 44. Fine. Press any key to go back to the window. Fine. So this is our program for to accept two integers from the user and print the sum of those. So if you want subtraction of those, just change the value here. Sum is equal to num1 minus num2. It will give you the subtraction. If you want the multiplication, change the sum, change the plus into multiplication symbol. Accordingly, you have to change other things, like you have to change here the multiplication each. If you are doing subtraction, you have to write the subtraction each. Fine. So now let us go to third program. So here we are for our third problem, and the problem statement is to calculate the simple interest. As we all know, for calculating simple interest, we need three values. We need the principal amount, we need a interest rate, and we need the year or time. And this formula, and we have the formula PTR divided by 100. P for principal amount, T for time, and R for the rate of interest. So as we all know, just have to convert. As we all think, as we know the process should be converted into a algorithm, and the algorithm should be converted to a flowchart. So the algorithm is start. After start, you have to declare three to four. We have to declare four variables, because now in one variable we will store the principal amount, in one variable we will store the time, and another variable will store the rate of interest, and at last we need another variable to store the simple interest. Fine. So here, as I mentioned, declare variable AMT for amount, rate for rate of interest, year for time, and SI for simple interest. Then you have to read the value for AMT, amount, rate, and year. And the fourth step is simple interest is equal to amount into rate into year divided by 100. And fifth step is display simple interest. And last one is stop. Similarly, the flow chart is first you have to read the value of three variables AMT, rate, and year. Then calculate the simple interest. After calculating the simple interest, print the value. Fine. Now let us go to the program environment or the compiler and do the program. So first we have to write the preprocessor command, which is #include stdio.h main start. We need variables, four variables, we need integer. Let us give short terms like T for principal amount, T for time, and R for rate of interest. At last we need simple interest, semicolon. Enter. Then printf enter the principal amount. Scanf percentile D, comma, ampersand of P, semicolon. Then printf enter the time. Semicolon. Scanf percentile D, comma, ampersand of T, semicolon. Then printf enter the time, enter the rate of interest, semicolon. Scanf percentile D, quotient, comma, ampersand of R, semicolon. So here if you want to take the interest, rate of interest in a decimal value, you can write here. You have to just only give integer variables like P, T and SI, and again in the next line you have to declare float R. Then only you can accept decimal value for rate of interest. Or if you want all the values in the decimal, all the values should be in decimal, so instead of writing int you have to write float. Fine. So for now I am writing it is as integer. Fine. Then after accepting all the values, you have to write SI is equal to bracket start, just start the bracket like P into T into R whole divided by 100, semicolon. Enter. Printf within the double quote just write simple interest is percentile D, comma, SI, semicolon. Fine. Same. Go to file, save it. We will give name as interest. Save the type, change the type to C source file, save it. After saving it, compile. Compilation done. Close it, then run it. So first it will ask about the principal amount. Let us give the principal amount is 2000 rupees. Enter. Enter the time. It is for 12 months. Then give the rate of interest. The rate of interest is 4%. Enter. The simple interest is 960. Fine. then press any key to come back to the programming window. Fine. So this is the simple interest program. So now let us go to the final program or final problem statement. Okay, so the last problem which we have to calculate the area of a rectangle. So as we know, to calculate a rectangle area we need a length and we need a breadth. So if we have the value of length and breadth, just multiply those length and breadth and you will get the area of the rectangle. So just convert this process to algorithm. Same, start, then declare three variables, length, breadth and area, then read the value of length and breadth. Step 4 is area is equal to length into breadth, display the area, stop. Similarly, the flow chart is read length and breadth, area is equal to length into breadth, then display area. Fine. So let us now go to the programming window or to the compiler and do the program and compile. So here we are in compiler or programming window. We have to start it like as include std io.h, then main, enter, always start, int, L for length, B for breadth and A for area, enter. Then printf in double quote, enter the length and breadth of rectangle, semicolon, scanner, %d, double quote and comma, ampersand of L, comma, ampersand of B, semicolon, then A is equal to L into B, semicolon, then printf, then double quote, area of rectangle is %d, comma, A, semicolon. Fine. Then go to again file, save, give name, area, change the save as type to C source file, save it. It is saved. Now compile. The compilation is done. Close, then run it. When you will run it, it will first show the first line which we have written to enter length and breadth of a rectangle. See, enter the length and breadth of a rectangle. So let us give the length is 12, enter, the breadth is 5, enter. So the area will be 60. Fine. Press any key. Fine. So with this we have completed our 4 problems to our program. Fine. They are very simple C programs which today in this video we have seen. Then some tasks to do. Fine. So they are very small programs which I am giving to you to practice yourself. Like first program, to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of 2 numbers given by user. Second one is to write a program to swap 2 numbers, and third one is to write a program to accept data of each data type and print on screen. So I am assuming that the first and third one is very simple for you, because already we have done the things in this particular video. Just you have to extend the things, or extend the number of lines in the particular existing programs. Fine. But the second one is really task for you. I will give you another separate video for on swapping two numbers. Fine. But you have to try yourself. So actually, what is swapping of two numbers? If you have two variables a and b, just store two values on a and b. After swapping, the value of b should come to the value of a, and value of a should go to the value of b. This is the swapping of two numbers. I will do a special video, separate video on swapping of two numbers. Fine. But you have to try it. Fine. So for this video, we have completed, or we have written 4 simple C programs. It's very easy to write, very easy to remember if we have the algorithm as well as the flowchart. So in this particular video, we have seen 4 problem statements, algorithm and flowchart for those 4 problem statements, and we have converted those problem statement algorithm to our C program and successfully compiled it and executed it, and we have seen our outputs. So do like, share and subscribe my video. Thank you.